In this video I'll show you some tips and tricks on how to do the Inkscape lesson number 2. Essentially you're going to have two separate logos. One of them is going to be engraved and one of them is going to be extruded when you're done. The first thing that people quite often ask me is, I want this thing to be on the work plane. So yeah, you can just click and drag and move it very not precisely. Just put it onto the work plane somewhere so that you're looking at it in a more predictable way. Some people like that a bit more. So then what you want to do is you'll insert a box, or you could do a sketch and extrude that too, doesn't really matter. So you'll put a box there slightly larger than the shape of your logo. So you'll change the length and the width and the height. So to scroll between those two, I'm just going to push tab. So I'm going to go 100, oh it's not quite big enough. Sure, I'll go 150. Probably by about 150. And then my height, I want it less than my logo, so I'll just go 5. So I can place that in there. If I try to place it like on the logo, it's going to screw it up. So if you happen to have a hole, that's good. You can place it there. But I'm going to pretend I don't have a hole that I can place it in. So I'll just place it somewhere on the work plane. Then I need to move these so that they're together. So the easiest way to do that is just to click on Move Rotate, and then use the arrows to move. That moves most precisely and easiest to predict. Just kind of eyeball it to get it centered. You may need to move your view around and look at it. So then the last thing you need to look at is where it is in relation to the build plane. So you can see that there's an outline of my shape on the back. It's going to turn out later on I don't actually want that outline there. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit. So I'm going to use the arrow to pull it out away from my box. Now when you do that, it may go to 5 automatically. So that's probably going to be too much. I probably just want to move it like 2 millimeters, so it's sticking out. You can't actually see the outline on the back when I'm clicked off of it. So there's no more outline there. So now I've got my first one. It's extruded, so that's a good thing. Then the second thing I want to do is I want to engrave one. So I better make a copy of this. Select all of it. I could also hold Control and click on both, but I selected, so I'm going to go Control C and then Control V. It highlights it like that. Now once I move it over, right or left, doesn't matter which way you move it, but now I've created another copy. So I'm going to leave this one alone. This is going to be my extruded copy. That's good. I'll come back to it at the end. To make one engraved, what you do is you want to subtract. Click on the box first and then your logo, and then push enter on your keyboard, and then you now see that you've engraved it into that box. I'll show you what happens if you did not move it out. So if I had it exactly flush with the back, so now it's flush with the back, you can actually see the outline there. When I subtract it, it will cut through the entire box, which is not always a good thing. And I'll show you why. So if I were to 3D print this, I would end up with this middle piece right here would be floating, and so would that piece right there. They would end up breaking away from the print and they wouldn't actually work. So I'll do my subtract again so I end up having it. There we go. Then I'll go over to my extruded one, and I'm just going to change some colors there. So what you can do is you can click on the R, and then this window will pop up and you'll click on Material. You can then move that wherever you want to and change the color of the material. So I want it to be red and black just because that's what I'm choosing. So the R is red. Now I'm going to click on the outer shape, and then I'm going to change that one to black. I can go darker black if I wanted, or a tinge of brown, whatever you choose. I kind of want black. So there's Inkscape lesson number 2 finished.